My best friend's Oscar, popped my cherry. No, I begged him to. I know, my mosh pit cherry. I'm no floosy. Now, I've been in more mosh pits than cousins at a Mexican family reunion. I like that your blog is called Rock Bottom. Oscar calls my bottom squishy. Because, at my first pit, he grabbed my butt, but it was bad aim. He was trying to cop a feel of Ricky's butt. Oscar digs bass players. In the punk scene, he's royalty. Long hair, don't care, 6-foot Puerto Rican, trademark pink muscle shirt, and spraying lots of cologne. I don't blame him. Pits are stinky. At my first pit, I crowd surfed 4 times. That's 3 past the limit, hello. But then they dropped me. Somebody stole my shoe, and I was elbowed in the boob. Limping away, I stepped in vomit. Are you gonna put all this in the interview? Mi mama always said, keep it classy. That's why I don't wanna be in the pit. I wanna be on stage, controlling it. I've always felt like an outsider, said by, virtually every famous and filthy rich insider, from J.K. Rowling to Steven Spielberg to Rupert Murdoch. So how do so many outsiders become successful insiders? Fortunately, Tech Insider, January 20th, 2016, has the answer, revealing that outsiders, or members of a minority group, are more creative because they reject convention and support fresh ideas that create change. So, the next time we feel threatened by somebody playing by different rules, remember, they might one day become a millionaire who gives you that sweet hookup. And sweetens our culture too. Mosh Pits Don't Discriminate by Lulu Vargas. Okay, so where did I get my start? I've always wanted to be a rock god, or goddess. I taught myself to play guitar, and now Oscar pulls double duty, drummer and stylist. That's about as much as he's out to his family. His dad owns Burger Madness. That's not a plug. I'm not about that, and your blog shouldn't be either, so. Anyway, work became a sweet practice space. Grace fires by day, epic shredding by night, temporary hearing loss. That one came from customers. One night, an elderly regular came in. He'd been ordering his wife's burger every day since she died, and then throwing it away. That night, he unwrapped it, threw it at me, and then screamed. I'd rather have nasty-ass groupies throwing themselves at me than smelly burgers. But I said, it's okay. I cleaned it up, and I gave him a piece of cherry pie. Who doesn't like pie? But when I realized that Oscar's dad was watching me, I thought for sure he'd hardcore write me up for giving away free food. That cat's cheap. Instead, I got promoted. Damn. Music has been my dream since I was 6. My parents thought I'd be the next ranchera superstar, but when I was 12, I showed them my first punk ballad, Chola's Stole My Sancho. To show support, Mama painted a mural on my leather jacket, but I was like, Mama, Lady Guadalupe isn't punk. It looks stupid. I mean, she felt bad, but it was true. Then I felt really bad because she got really sick. She died when I was 15. Papa was a mess. I had to help raise my hermanas and get a job. Burger Madness was, seriously, don't plug that on your blog for free. I told you, Oscar's dad is cheap and mean. One night at practice, I rocked out a little too hard and knocked Oscar in the head. Then my guitar whacked his other head. You know, like his pelotas? Hard. He screamed like a girl. Then Oscar's dad stumbled out of his office, drunk, and told us that we sounded like garbage. I almost cried, but Oscar did it for the both of us, so. When we walked out at 2 a.m., my arm was around Oscar, and through his tears, he whispered, bandmates for life. Then his dad yelled at Oscar that a real man would be holding me and never let a woman see him cry. and cut that hair. Driving home that night, lights flashed behind me. Nobody likes to be stopped by a cop, but, and this is off the record, I thought back to when I was 6 in Mexico, and ladrones would break in and hold guns to my head or mama's pregnant belly and scream at papa for money. Living in fear wasn't living at all. So papa gave all of our money to a lawyer for visas, but everything has an expiration date and we overstayed our welcome. The officer walked up, looked at my name tag, and said that Burger Madness gave him food poisoning and to get my taillight fixed. I held my breath until he drove away. And then I saw Mama standing where his car had been, like an angel. But when I wiped the tears from my eyes, she was gone. Angels need to speak more. What was I supposed to do, Mama? Burgers or music? All I knew, ain't no way I was driving anymore. So Oscar said he'd be my chauffeur if he could drive shirtless. Thank God for that fool's jokes, because I went from Employee of the Year to Mexican Mule. We even got banned from practicing after work. Oscar said he was running a house for us out in the sticks where we could make beautiful noise and he wouldn't have to hide from his dad that he wants to cha-cha with chicos. You can leave that part in. His dad only reads his restaurant's receipts and mail. One night at work, Oscar's dad shoved a letter from immigration in my face. My name didn't match the social security number I had given them. He screamed at me that if I was Puerto Rican, I would have immigrated the right way and not like a wetback. I was ready to sock him in the face, but Oscar jumped between us and threw his dad to the floor. He never said another word about my status. As we walked out that night, Oscar was the one holding me. The night of our first gig, Oscar jumped up from his drum kit and I thought to myself, there's not enough auto-tune in the world if he tries to sing right now, okay? Feedback blasted through his speakers and he shouted, "Girl, I don't like your tattoos, but shit, let's get married anyways." That loco knucklehead kissed me and he was serious. The crowd went nuts, so I nodded. Yes. Don't get me wrong. I mean, we ain't in love. He is a good kisser, but I know he's meant for some other guy. As I crowd surfed that night, I realized that mosh pits are melting pots, just like the US. A crazy circle of madness with different people from different places with bad hygiene who crash into each other, but they leave in peace and harmony. Print that. All of it.